Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are going on a hunt for a silent destroyer that could be lurking in your home right now. We're talking about an unseen enemy that can secretly cause thousands of dollars in damage, and it's all happening right under your feet.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a question. Is your floor's biggest enemy invisible? You know, the answer might actually surprise you, because it turns out the most serious threats are almost always the ones you just can't see.
I know what you're thinking. Dry water? That sounds like a total contradiction, right? But believe it or not, in the world of flooring, it's a real term. Kind of like a code name for a really serious problem. Hidden moisture that gets trapped right under your laminate. And we're not talking about some big obvious flood here. No, this is more of a slow, sneaky dampness that just quietly destroys your floors from the bottom up.
So the big question is, how does this stealthy intruder even get in? Because it's not always from a big, obvious spill you can see. Let's break down the main culprits, the things that let this hidden water basically set up shop in your house.
And here's the wild part. This so-called dry water, it usually doesn't come from a huge, obvious leak you'd notice right away. No, it's often caused by something as simple as high humidity in the summer, or a tiny little pinhole leak in a pipe somewhere, or even just your house shifting and settling as the seasons change.
Okay, so how on earth are you supposed to catch an invisible culprit like this? Well, it's time to put on your detective hat. Believe it or not, your floor is actually sending out distress signals. You just have to know what you're looking for.
Listen, your floor is practically screaming for help with these signs. If you see the edges of the planks starting to curl up, that's what the pros call cupping, or if you walk across a spot and it feels kind of spongy, that is a major red flag. And that smell, you know, the one, that musty, damp basement smell, that is the absolute calling card of mold. Trust me, ignoring these clues is a massive gamble you do not want to take.
So if you see any of those signs, or honestly, even if you just have a gut feeling something's off, it's time to confirm it. You need the right tools to go from just suspecting a problem to actually investigating it.
And these are your two main gadgets for the job. You've got your pin moisture meter. Think of it like a doctor's needle. It has these tiny probes that go inside the material to get a super precise reading. It's a bit more invasive, sure, but it's accurate. Then you have the pinless meter. This one's more like an X-ray. It just reads the moisture right from the surface using electromagnetic signals so it doesn't leave a mark. It's awesome for quick spot checks. Both of these are lifesavers for finding that hidden moisture.
All right, so let's talk about the big what if. What if you just ignore it? You know, you see a little bit of warping, you smell that faint musty odor, and you think, I'll get to it later. Well, let me tell you, the consequences are way more severe than you probably think.
First things first, your floor is going to be toast. That beautiful, smooth laminate you paid for, it's going to start warping, swelling, and buckling. See, the core of laminate is basically a wood composite, and once that stuff gets waterlogged and loses its shape, it's game over. There's no coming back. You're looking at a complete and very expensive replacement.
And it gets worse. That dark, damp space under your floor, it basically becomes a five-star resort for mold and mildew. And this isn't just about a funky smell. We're talking about mold spores getting into the air you and your family breathe, which can trigger allergies, asthma, all sorts of nasty respiratory issues.
And the damage doesn't even stop at the laminate. That moisture will just keep seeping down, right into your subfloor. You know, the actual foundation of your room. Once that gets compromised, it's not just an ugly problem anymore, it's a serious structural safety hazard.
And finally, let's talk about the money, because this is a big one. Almost every single flooring warranty on the planet is voided the second moisture damage is found. Yep, manufacturers just assume a perfectly dry installation. So when it goes wrong, guess who's left holding the bag? You are. You're footing the entire bill for what could be a massive $1,000 repair job.
Okay, enough with the doom and gloom. Let's say you've found the problem. Now what? First step, don't panic. We've got a clear, actionable 5-step plan to get everything dried out and save your floor.
Now, the key here is to follow these steps methodically. First, you got to ventilate and dehumidify. Get that moisture out of the air. Then, you can apply some gentle heat, think box fans, to speed up the evaporation. Now, if some planks are just too far gone, you'll have to carefully remove and replace them. And look, for big jobs, don't be a hero. Call a professional. But honestly, the most crucial step of them all is that last one, finding the root cause. If you don't fix the original leak or humidity issue, you're just going to be doing this all over again in a few months.
All right, you've solved the immediate issue. The floor is dry. Awesome. Now, let's make sure it never comes back. It's time to fortify your floors for good. This is your proactive defense plan, your long-term playbook. It all starts with a proper installation, and that means using a quality moisture barrier. Seriously, think of it as armor for your floor. After that, it's just about being smart. Control your indoor humidity, act fast on any spills, never let water just sit. And maybe think about choosing water-resistant laminate for places like bathrooms or basements. A little prevention now saves a world of hurt later.
But look, let's be real for a second. Even the best DIY efforts have their limits, and it's absolutely crucial to know when it's time to call for backup.
So if you see any of these things, call a professional immediately. We're talking extensive water damage across a huge area, any sign or smell of mold, or if you know the damage has reached the subfloor. Trying to fix that stuff yourself, that's like putting a bandage on a major wound. It's just not going to work. You need a pro.
And you know, this quote from a flooring contractor, James Miller, really just hits the nail on the head. He says, "Prevention is worth its weight in gold." And it's so true. It is far, far easier to stop these problems before they even start than it is to play catch-up later.
So, there you have it. This explainer has given you the tools to identify, fix, and prevent this hidden water damage. You know what to look for, and you know what to do. So the only real question left is, what's the first step you're going to take to protect your floors?